Or Miamisburg, but I hear from my family that the bicentennial is just as big a deal or bigger. So, I've been thinking about our hometown's history, as I said. I checked the census figures. About the time our class was graduating, Miamisburg had 15,000 residents. One recent estimate put the population at 20,000. Is that meteoric growth? Probably not. But when some towns, and you pointed this out, when some cities and towns in the country and the state have gone from boom town to bust in 50 years, Miamisburg still survives and is prospering even. Why might that be? One partial answer might be what we are sometimes, that we are sometimes deriding as small town values. Derided or not, they're not unique to southwestern Ohio. My wife Nancy grew up about 30 miles from Midtown Manhattan in a little town called Suffern, New York. Her identification in childhood was with the local restaurant, the candy store where they went, near her house, the neighborhood school, her church. I guess technically she lived in a suburb of the biggest city in America, but in her mind, she lived in a little town just like Mayberry or like Miamisburg. When we compare childhoods, our experiences sound very similar because of the similar time period, but also definitely because of the common beliefs. Family, continuity, a place where everybody knows your name, loyalty, safety, roots. A place to make our first friends, relationships that we maintain today. Look around us. Not everything stays the same, but much that was good about our childhoods is still good. I'd like to end, and you're saying, thank God, with a couple of verses of another poem. In 1968, there was a TV show on, very popular, number one a lot of the time. It was a comedy skit show, a rapid-fire joke machine show called Laugh-In. It made stars out of Goldie Hawn and Lily Tomlin. But also, it had a humorous poet named Henry Gibson that was on every week. He wrote little verses which ended up in the show. And he wrote one that ended up in the 1976 Robert Altman movie, Nashville. Doug, maybe you'll bring this to the plaza sometime. In it, Henry Gibson's poem was used then as kind of an ironic commentary on the bicentennial of the USA. My high school English teachers, Mrs. Robinson and Julia May Horton, might argue that I am missing the sarcasm or the satire in this verse. And I probably am. But I think it was also a sincere tribute to our American, and in my view, our little town 200th birthday. And here's part of the poem. I pray my sons won't go to war, but if they must, they must. I share our country's motto, and in God I place my trust. We may have had our ups and downs, our times of trials and fears, but we must be doing something right to last 200 years. I've lived through 2 depressions and through